Hi, multilingual learners. How are you today? If you answered, I'm fine, thanks, and you are not incorrect, but this is actually not something that native speakers tend to say. So, although this is a textbook phrase, it doesn't sound very natural, and it is a giveaway sign that you are not a native speaker. If you want to sound more natural when you're speaking English, or even trick people into thinking that you're a native speaker, there are certain phrases and words that you should avoid. Keep watching to find out what they are and some alternatives to help you sound more natural. So, as I mentioned, this isn't incorrect, and it is something that many English teachers will teach their students because it's a polite response and it's a simple phrase that's easy for English learners to remember. But it doesn't sound very natural. It actually sounds quite robotic, and native speakers wouldn't usually say this when they are speaking. The only time I see native speakers use this response is in a written email in a business setting. Even then, it isn't a very common phrase. So, what could you say instead if someone asks, how are you? Or how are you doing? Why not try, I'm good, thanks. You? Not bad. How are you? I'm all right, thanks. How are you doing? So is something that many of my students have used, especially younger students who I've taught. It is often used to mean not bad or not good. For example, how is your English? So. My English is not bad, not good. Or how's it going? So. I'm not bad, I'm not good. Or even, how was the film? It was so. It was not bad, it was not good. It was okay. Again, it's okay if you use it, but this is pretty outdated and I rarely or even never hear native speakers use it, especially younger ones. It's maybe more commonly used by an older demographic. Instead, you could say, not bad, or nah, it's okay, or even it's fine, or I'm fine. But note that when English speakers say something is fine or that they feel fine, it tends to have more of a negative meaning. And it often means that they are actually not fine or that something wasn't good. So this may be an appropriate response instead of so, especially if you want to convey more of a negative meaning.
This is fine.
So many of my students have addressed me this way. Teacher is okay, but it's quite strange for an adult to address another adult as teacher. Ma'am is even more unnatural. It is extremely polite, but very outdated. It actually sounds like you are speaking to a very old lady. So please don't call me ma'am. I'm young. Instead, it's best to address your teacher by their name, by their first name. If this feels too personal and you'd like to be more formal, you can use Miss, Mr., or Mrs. and their last name. Now, this sentence is actually grammatically incorrect, but it's something that students and English learners make mistakes with a lot. In this sentence, the preposition is incorrect. We shouldn't say, have you ever been in? Instead, we should say, have you ever been to? Or have you ever visited? So, have you ever been to the UK? Or have you ever visited the United States? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever heard this expression before? This is an idiom, so it doesn't literally mean it's raining cats and dogs. It means it's raining a lot. Again, this phrase exists and it isn't incorrect, but it's very old fashioned and outdated. Nobody really uses it anymore. You might hear or see it used in old black and white films. That's how old-fashioned it is. Instead of using this idiom, you could say, it's raining heavily, or it's very rainy, or it's pouring with rain, or even my favorite British English phrase, it's chucking it down. Learning and using idioms is a great way to sound more natural when you're speaking English. But watch out, as there are some idioms which are not commonly used anymore, and so they will actually have the opposite effect and be a telltale sign that you are not a native speaker. If you only take one tip away from this video or remember one thing, make sure it's this one. The word get has so many uses in English, and using it will help you to sound a lot more natural. The word get can have many different meanings, and these are just some of them. Instead of saying something like, I became ill, which is of course correct, but less commonly said by native speakers, you could say, I got ill. Or try replacing the word receive with get. For example, I got a message instead of saying I received a message. Or I got a gift from him instead of I received a gift from him. I got here at 10 a.m. instead of I arrived here at 10 a.m. I got a new t-shirt instead of I bought a new t-shirt. Or I didn't get the lesson instead of I didn't understand the lesson. This small, simple change will make such a difference in how natural you sound. You will sound much more like a native speaker. So I need to end this video soon, but I'm not going to say goodbye. Why? Because it's not actually something that native speakers say very often. Like with I'm fine, thanks, and you. It's quite formal and simple. So, of course, goodbye is taught by English teachers and therefore used by English learners. I would use this in a more formal context, or maybe even at the end of one of these videos. But if I'm chatting to a friend, I wouldn't say goodbye in this way. Instead, I might say, bye, see you, catch you later, or take care. Try one of these the next time you say goodbye to someone and see how you like it. So that's it. Remember that many of these phrases are not incorrect, but if you want to sound closer to a native speaker, I'd recommend swapping them for one of my alternatives. I hope you like this video. See ya.
If you learned something new from this video, give it a thumbs up. Then, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. Have a look around our channel for more hacks and tips. And if you're watching on another social media platform, like or follow our page. See you next time.